Yo, 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 it's your boy TMack, and I just jumped off the porch with DGB, Dirty Glove Bastard. You heard me?
1987, I was born. The 80s, baby, looking for a million. I was sworn.
TMack, welcome to Off the Porch, man. How you feeling, man?
Oh, man, I'm feeling good, man. Happy to be here, man.
Yeah.
Through all the traffic.
Yeah. Yeah, you're coming from Memphis, man.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah. So a little bit of a travel for you, man. So, you're a vet in the game. Artist, producer, DJ, engineer, pretty much anything. I think I seen you whipping a camera the other day, too.
Hey, yeah, man. Gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Yeah. So, and like I mentioned, you are from Memphis. You were born in Memphis, but you moved to Columbus, Ohio when you were 3.
Yeah.
And then moved back to Memphis when you were 15.
Absolutely.
So for people who've never been to either city, how do the two cities compare?
Well, I would say Memphis is going to be, well, both of them are great cities. I learned a lot from Columbus and Memphis. I got a lot of family in Memphis, so I would say honestly, really what it comes down to, Memphis is a all majority black city. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's majority black. It's going to be an urban community. Columbus has its hoods and stuff like that, but Columbus is a great place to raise a family.
Yeah.
It's got the Ohio State Buckeyes. You know,
yeah.
I would say moving to Memphis was culture shock for me. You know what I mean? I'm from the South. All my family is in Memphis, in the South.
Yeah. Coming
from Columbus and moving back to the South, being around that many black people, it was culture shock. It's a different culture coming from the Midwest, coming to the South.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of stuff. Like I had conversations with my homeboys in Ohio all the time about trying to explain to them the differences in the South. But at this age, I didn't came to realize that you would think it's a lot of racism in the South. It's a lot more people that's racist up north and in the Midwest. It's a lot of stereotyping that goes on Midwest. If you in the Midwest, if you in the on the wrong side of town in the wrong car, you automatically getting stereotyped in the Midwest. So it's kind of like that. Yeah. Whereas in the South, being black, you can kind of move around and do a little bit more without sticking out like a sore thumb. But other than that, you got gangsters in the South, you got gangsters in the Midwest. You got hustlers and now diversity, I would say Columbus is a lot more diverse. I grew up around Laos. One of my best friends is Laos, and he as gangster as any other nigga I know. You know what I'm saying? So Columbus is real diverse from that point of view.
Yeah, yeah. Which city did you prefer to live in?
Just because my family is from the South and Memphis, I feel a little bit more connected there. I learned a lot about Columbus. Columbus is the infrastructure of the city is a little bit built up better, like how Atlanta is. Yeah. But just for me personally, by my family being in the South, I appreciate the South and being in Memphis. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. All right. And you had an early interest in music. You played the violin and saxophone when you were just 11?
Yeah. Growing up, so in like elementary school, I played the violin, the saxophone. In middle school, I played the saxophone, but I also played football. So by the time I was in 6th, 7th grade, I had to stop playing in the band at school because I was playing football. I couldn't do both.
You had to choose one. Mm-hmm. So who got you into music?
Well, my mom, I would say my mom. My mom had me pretty young, so growing up on Saturdays, cleaning up, we was listening to Tupac, All Eyes on Me. She had a CD folder with all the Death Row greatest hits in it. Anything you could think of out the 90s, rap music, gangster rap, my mom had it, R&B as well. But yeah, my mom, she definitely, I would say, I got introduced to a lot of rap music and just music in general as far as variety from my mom listening to it around the house.
Yeah. And who taught you how to play the violin and saxophone? Did you take lessons? Or?
Yeah, well, like I said, in elementary school, so in like 4th grade, I had a teacher, you get to play an instrument in school, so I did it like that. Also, at the same time where I was playing the instrument at school, at home I had a PlayStation and I had this game called MTV Music Generator. And I would practice making beats on there. I'm sure they were garbage then. Back then, the main thing was I was making the beats on the PlayStation, but I was trying to figure out how can I get them from the PlayStation to a CD or somewhere where I can rap on them and put them on the CD. That was the biggest thing then.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. How old were you when you started messing around on the PlayStation?
I was probably about 10, 11, 5th grade,
wow.
6th grade. Yeah, started messing with that real tough in late 90s, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And looking back on that now, seeing how far technology has improved.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I did this in Memphis. Memphis has stacks. That's one thing I would say comparing Columbus to Memphis. Memphis, even though it's not as developed as far as the infrastructure, Memphis has an excellent music scene. Even compared to Atlanta being a big, great city for music, Memphis rivals that as far as just the talent. So I did this. I was honored they let me teach this workshop at Stax Museum.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it was a whole bunch of students, like elementary, middle schoolers. And it was in the workshop wanting to learn how to, well, they already knew how to do it, but they wanted, I guess, talk to people who is in the industry doing stuff. And the main thing I could tell them is like, look, we didn't have no school where you can go to learn how to be no engineer. I had to just hit buttons until I figured out what sounded good. You know what I mean? So I was just trying to tell them like, y'all need to appreciate having this because we didn't have this. So now it's wide open. People talking about, I need some beats. I'm trying to rap. Man, you can go on YouTube and get a beat if you want to rap bad enough. So right now, man, with technology, I just saw something where they about to come out with a microphone that you can make the beats with the microphone.
Oh, what?
Yeah, you can just beatbox and hum the beat and it turns it into MIDI.
It turns it into the sounds.
Yeah, man, that's crazy now.
Man, that's crazy right there.
But one other thing I could say on that too, I was blessed to meet a lot of producers that came before me. And you would be surprised some of the ways they produced back in the day.
Oh yeah, when you talk about analog.
And they would show up with like it's a guy, David Porter from Memphis. He's a big producer from back in the day. Yeah. And my uncles was telling me how he would come in the studio with a tape recorder, with the tape recorded just of him humming the beat and the music, and come, hey, I want y'all to play this, and you know what I mean. So it's came a long way, but you gotta appreciate it. You know, you gotta appreciate it. You know, because talent's still gonna stick out at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you were in high school, you actually formed a group.
Yeah, so we had a group. We first was called the Franchise or whatever, you know, and so how that started when I moved back to Memphis in 10th grade. Okay. So I was the new guy at school, lame. Only thing saved me was that I was playing football, and also I had learned before I moved, me and my guy, rest in peace, Mike Bates, we found this program called Hip Hop EJ, where you can record on the computer. So that's how we learned how to go and get it on CD. So by the time I moved to Memphis, me and Mike had already recorded a CD called Lifestyles. You know, we 14 years old, just whatever. And but when I came to Memphis, I'll be in the lunchroom and boys would be beating on the table, rapping, and they'd be like, yo, you gonna rap? And I'll be like really nervous to rap, but I told my boy, I got my stuff on CD. And he like, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But they came on my mom's house. I don't know why my mom let me do that. Thinking back, man, we in the house cussing, all type of crazy shit. My mom letting it go on. But so that's how we formed the Franchise. You know, after football practice came over and we recorded a CD. Yeah. So that year we passed those out, flooded the schoolhouse. And you know, now, you know, it wasn't really big, but at the same time, it's still a lot of people that remember from back then, you know, especially around Memphis. So, because they even ended up coming to Atlanta and you know, pressing up CDs, passing them out around here and stuff. So that was something nice for us back then. Yeah.
And you released your first project, Born Ready, in 2007.
That was 2007, and actually back then what it was, just like when I was trying to figure out how to get stuff on CD, being an independent, I ain't never had money, like, you know, I just been somebody with chasing a dream. And so back then in 2006 and 2007, I was blessed to start working with 8Ball MJG. But I also wanted to be an artist myself. But what was happening is that a lot of people were drawn toward me for engineering and producing. Okay. So me being an artist was just something I had to do because I want to do it. Yeah. And back then, that's still when people could put CDs out in the store. And so I'm trying to figure out how can I get my music out there without, you know, having all these deals. So my mom used to be on this service called Rhapsody, you know, where you can subscribe and stream. So that's how I got hip and I started getting on the internet trying to reach out. And I got in contact with this guy named Ghazi. Ghazi is over Empire now. That's his company. But back then, 2007, 2008, he messed with me and let me distribute my stuff through him. And I was able to put that out on you know, iTunes and stuff back then, but even before it kind of took off. But that was big for me, you know. I was proud about that.
And Ghazi and Empire has grown to such a big,
I can't believe how
their own empire, you know. All right, and You're probably most recognized for your work with 8Ball and MJG.
Yeah,
you mentioned you met them in what, 2006, 2007?
Yeah, I was producing locally around Memphis. There was a guy named Mac E. Had the radio on fire. I did an album for him called The Comeback, and he was working with MJG under MJG's label, and so I was starting to come around them then. And actually, what happened? I was working at Best Buy, and MJG came in there one day, and up until that point, I was coming around them, but it was on the strength of Mac E. So at this point, I stopped. I'm like, man, you know what? I'm about to tell him who I am. So I stopped him and was like, yeah, man, I'm TMack. I make beats and stuff. And he was sitting there listening to me it took me back like, dang, he's sitting there listening to me. So he basically gave me the green light to come to their studio whenever I wanted and let him hear music. And I still was like, man, I'm not gonna get all in their face like that. And man, so it happened I got fired from Best Buy that July for being late to a goddamn meeting.
Oh, shit.
So I was like, man, I got to do something now. And I had this song called Shades. I was working on, did the beat, did the hook on there, did a couple verses, and I took it to MJG studio, Ball and G studio they had back then, and let him hear the song with the intentions of maybe him getting on it as a feature, and that being my first single. I was gonna put that on that Born Ready album.
Yeah.
He heard it. He was like, man, I know you made this for me. And I'm like, what can I say? Yeah, go ahead. So
it's yours now.
But he, from that, ended up getting a deal, releasing an album called This Might Be the Day. It made Billboard and stuff, but it was all in that transitional phase from CDs. Like we did some of the last in-stores where we went on them promo runs, went to the FYEs in Kansas City. I remember back in 2008, we went to that big mall in Kansas City and was passing out CDs, promo CDs, and the little kids was telling us, what we gonna do with this? We got iPods. This was in 2008.
Yeah.
And so that's when I knew something was happening. But that music was great music, and it was my opportunity to see how the industry works, but it was the timing, it was everything was transitioning into streaming. So a lot of people might not have caught wind of it, but for me, it still was major. Still to this day, I'm proud of that.
Yeah. And you credit both of them as being your mentors.
Absolutely.
What's some of the advice that they've given you that's really stuck with you throughout the years?
So with them, they never tried to force me on no paperwork or anything like that.
Yeah.
They really allowed me to see the game through them, and that's the biggest blessing you can ask for in this industry, because it's so cold, man.
Oh yeah.
People get caught up on paperwork, don't own their music and things like that. So one day I was down there working at that studio with them. We was in the working process then, but if they had a show or something, I would leave, go home. But this day in particular, Ball was like, hey, you want to roll to the show with us? I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. So went to the show, and that's when they really let me see, more than anything, they let me hang around and let me see how the industry goes around. So more than any just one thing, being able to see how the industry works taught me how to move in the industry, because stuff become life and death the more money come involved. So if you don't know how to move, if you don't know how to have in your rider that everybody needs to be off the stage before you get on stage. Simple stuff like that will save your life in this industry. And that's what I learned from hanging out with Ball and G, what I mean?
Yeah, and you've had a solid working relationship with them for over 10 years now. Would you ever imagine that when you first started that?
Never imagine. What I could say about that I learned, because I have a strong faith in God, is that it's power in the tongue, and the energy you put out, the stuff you talk about, you attract that to you. Because growing up, I used to listen to Ball and G. When I was in Columbus, Ball and people knew who Ball and G was, but they weren't mainstream. So I remember being in Spanish class rapping Ball and G music to one of my friends, and me and him only, it was like an inside joke. They in there talking Spanish, we rapping Ball and G. But and 8Ball was my favorite rapper, him and Jada Kiss. So I never thought I would meet them, you know what I'm saying? To this day, I done met a lot of people, Kanye West, a lot of people, but Ball was the only one I've been starstruck. When I first met him, I was taking my grandma's car to get washed, about to go to prom. Saw him up there getting his car washed, and I'm like, went and rapped for him, did the whole nine and all of that, But I learned through that and other people that I've met that, birds of a feather flock together. The stuff that you interested in, you're gonna attract similar. And if you like somebody's music, it's not a coincidence. Y'all probably a similar type of people. That's the biggest thing I learned from that, because there's been a lot of other things that happened that made me realize it wasn't a coincidence. You know what I mean?
You also have a very close relationship with Daz as well.
Daz, man.
How'd you first link up with Daz?
Shout out to DJ Funky.
DJ Funky, okay.
DJ Funky.
Shout out to Funky.
Ball and G was working on their album at Grand Hustle. That's when they had the Street Exec studio. Grand Hustle was in there, and Ball and G was working on their album. And DJ Funky came down there one day, and that's how I met Funky. Yeah. But Funky kind of befriended me, took me under, let me come to his house, meet his family, see how he get down with the strip clubs and all of that. Yeah. And that's been my guy, man. He introduced me to Daz. A lot of people, I met through Funky, because he's a real down-to-earth, cool cat, man. Yeah. Still out here getting it.
Yeah, he's well connected out here. Absolutely. And you mentioned, and I think it was on Instagram, that the first time you met Daz, he gave you real estate advice.
Man, on everything. So first time I met Daz, we had already did some songs together and everything. I just had never, because Dad, I'm gonna tell you what Dad used to do. This is how cool he is. This back when on the Macs, anybody had a Mac, before FaceTime and all that, they had iChat.
Yeah.
Remember that? So Daz would just hit me on iChat. You know what I'm saying? He might hit me on iChat and he in a little room like this smoking, talking about, yeah, man, I'm in Japan. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn. You know what I'm saying? So he really took me under. But the first time I met him in person, that's the first thing. He showed me this website. I can't remember with an R. He showed me the site and they had the foreclosures on there. And back then I'm like, and don't get me wrong, Daz he gadgets, all that. He up on all of that. That's how, he up on all of that. So he was just hipping me to a lot of space age stuff even then. Stuff that you can do with the music as a producer and everything. But that was like the first thing he showed me, that site. Back then I'm like, what? Really? Foreclosures. But now I realize,
you look at it, it's like he was putting you on the game.
Yes.
Yeah, he was putting you on the real game. Yeah.
For real.
All right. And you also engineered Dolph's first mixtape, right?
Yeah. I met Dolph back in 2009. He had a mixtape that he had then. I can't remember the name of that one, but he already had that. He's showing up with boxes of it. But when I linked up with him, he would come to the studio and be recording every day. And it's like, I could tell you back then, there was a lot of people who was hating on him. You know what I'm saying? They hated on Dolph for what he was doing. But I saw his work ethic, how he was coming to the studio every day, recording. And we did Welcome to Dolph's World.
Okay.
And honestly, after that, after Welcome to Dolph's World, we still had a working relationship, but his pace, the man just never stopped working. So in 3-4 years, he had 10 plus mixtapes he had recorded and was, gone. So it's like he always surprised me when he go to another level. With it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you saw that potential even back then, just through the work ethic.
Like back then, I knew Ball and G, and it was like, for me, it was an honor and blessing to work with them. But Dolph is the first person that I saw go from here all the way up. You know what I'm saying? And so that's special to me to even know him. You know what I'm saying? Because he's the same person. He's still cool. It's just I remember one day he pulled me to the side. He was like, hey man, TMack, I done figured it out, man. I'm about to do it. I'm thinking like, okay, yeah, cool. What you got? But man, he wasn't playing.
He was serious. He really had the blueprint.
The blueprint, for sure.
All right, and you released your new EP, Indica, recently. How long did you work on this project?
To be honest, Indica was something because, like I say, I started doing music as an artist first, but I love music in general, whatever way I can play a part. But I always try to at least stay true to being an artist and release some material. And I hadn't released something, and I don't think I released nothing in 2018. So I just had a point that I'm gonna release something. You know what I mean? I wanted to do it for 420. So I put together, a few songs just to put out there. But I like the music. I would say, that song might be songs that I had been working over the last year. I just pulled. I probably had 20 songs, and I just pulled from them and tried to match up ones that I can kind of put together. Yeah,
I got you. Yeah, it's a 5-track EP. Let's talk about some of the songs on there. The first song is Hold Up. What do you talk about on that song?
Hold Up. So my guy sent me that beat, and
yeah, so you didn't produce all the songs on there. You produced, I think, 3 of them, right?
Yeah, right. And that's something that I'm trying to, I like producing, and I had to get away from, like that MJG album, I did all the beats on there and stuff like that. But I feel like as an artist, sometimes I put myself in the box only rapping on my beats. So I kind of try to make it a point now to not just rap on my beats, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that guy that did that beat, Tracksmith, he actually sent me that beat probably a year or 2 ago. And I had the hook on it. And it was I'm gonna tell you what made me go with that song. Cause me as an artist, I might pick other songs, but I got a younger brother, he 21. I'm letting him hear the songs I'm working on. He like, oh man, that's the one right there, man. Woo, you bumping on that. And one thing, that song, cause I come from writing, so I'm gonna write my music.
Yeah.
That song, I freestyled that song, but it's like, he was like, man, I like that song. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna put that one on there.
Yeah. There you go. Let him pick it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up is the song Make It Happen. It's got a TLC sample on there, right?
My boy Red on the beat did that
Yeah,
track.
Red.
I was on Facebook one day, saw him scrolling through. He was on live and he was making the beat on live. I'm like, man, I need that beat. And Red, he's a cool cat. He can tell you about back when I was doing the stuff for Dolph. He was one of the young cats to come up to the studio and with a guy named Jay and be like, hey man, we want to learn how to engineer, man. We want to make beats. I mean, well, they didn't tell me they made beats. They was like, we want to learn how to engineer. So I'm like, yeah. For me, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm gonna show you how to engineer because that's gonna let me get up out the chair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But they were making beats and all that too. So, but Red has always been cool, man. He sent me the beat straight through, and I just that was kind of I'm trying to get back into more mood music. So that was one of the ones I heard, and I was just like, you know what, I can do this. Let me, you know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Next song on there is B4 with an MJG.
Yep.
What do you guys talk about on that song?
Before, that's a song just talking about one day me and G was sitting around and we always, especially from him being a vet in the game and seeing stuff come around so many times, it's like we were sitting around one day just kind of laughing about seeing how people trying stuff and doing stuff.
Yeah.
Like that was stuff we was doing 10 years ago, 15. And for them, shooting, they did it in the 90s and doing it over and over again. So that was kind of one of them things. We were sitting around joking, came up with that hook, you know what I'm saying? Shit that you niggas be trying to do and already did before.
Yeah.
So it just, something fun to do, to talk about.
Yeah. How passionate is MJG about making music still?
He is the architect. He stands on what he knows. You're not gonna sway him from that. And that's what makes him legendary and classic because he that sound, the way he rides the beat, everything about even their early stuff, he was producing a lot of those beats and stuff like that. So actually before I met Ball and G, 8Ball was my favorite rapper.
Yeah.
But when I met them and actually got to hang around them and I started realizing how MJG, that's our connection. Me and MJG hang around each other and don't talk about music or nothing because we both producers, we both techie, we into technology. We might sit around and talk about some phones or like what new gadgets is coming out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's, from that point of view, I always tell him he's the most regular acting famous person I ever met because he's famous, but like you hang out with him and he just cool like a regular person. Sit there and talk to you. Him and Ball, they always sign autographs. Never seen him turn down a picture, none of that.
Yeah, that's real right there. All right, track number 4 on this EP is Come On Baby. This one's for the ladies, right?
Yeah, and I like that personally. That's one of my personal favorites. I definitely love that sample.
Did you produce that one?
Yeah, I produced that record right there.
Where does that sample come from?
That's going to be the Marvin Gaye.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get it on. I just got a different version that don't have the
Okay.
Yep. So that's a personal favorite. As an artist, I'm not a gangster rapper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not a gangster rapper like that, but I love music. So I'm making more music for the ladies and people that actually embrace music. You know what I mean? Not saying guys don't, but sometimes guys can be a little trendy, you know what I mean? So it's like, I'm embracing who embraces me, you know what I mean? So. Yeah.
All right, and the final track on there is the title track, Indica. Why'd you choose Indica for this project name? I know you dropped it on 420.
Yeah, so that was the whole thing with that. I really just based it all around, hey, look, I ain't dropped no music in a year and a half. I want to drop something on 420. I'm going to drop something, because it was going, originally I had like 10 tracks. I was going to drop a project. But then when I started realizing, you know what, if you try to do this, you probably going to miss that deadline. I kind of tried to set a deadline for myself. And so what actually happened with the Indica record was that was a record I had I produced that record too, and was sitting on it, and I actually did 2 hooks to that song. One of them was a more retrospective, deep record type of thing. Yeah. And the Indica record, that was once again one of the ones when I let my younger brothers hear it, friends hear it, they liked that. It was that feeling, more of a fun feeling. That's something with music, I done lost a lot of friends, died, they're chasing this music dream, and I done made a decision, man, I gotta get back to just having fun with it, like when I first started. So instead of trying to make this extra deep record on that Donny Hathaway sample, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna have fun with it. And I actually started out writing that song about something different, and then halfway through it, I'm like, you know, I'm about to make this song about weed, and I switched it. So I got that from, I always wanted to do, Kanye West had this song called Home. When he rapping about Chicago like it's a girl. And I was like, man, I always wanted to do a song like that. So that was just kind of, I'm gonna have to do it again better, but that was just like a little attempt at that, you know what I mean?
I got you. All right, and you're also launching a CBD company, right?
Yeah, wow. So that's something, I just been seeing how that's been going, and I actually advocate for that strongly on a medicinal level, you know. And Chill Factory, that's my company I set up, and it's just something I'm playing around with, but at the same time, like I said, I definitely advocate for CBD and what it does for you versus prescription drugs and man-made drugs and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah. What are some of the benefits of CBD?
CBD, anti-inflammatory, you know, I was diagnosed with colitis, so I know about, you know, that, it's anti-inflammatory, anti-anxiety, you know, it gives you all of the effects you would get from smoking a blunt. You just don't have the paranoid feeling. You know what I mean? You're not gonna be all in the head. You know what I mean? But you're still gonna be relaxed, anti-anxiety. So CBD is great. They say it's gonna be like a $1 trillion, $1 billion, a couple in the next by 2020. So it's definitely something that's catching on, and people are. And what's so crazy about that is that so my mom. Husband passed away from stomach cancer a couple years ago, and back then I was starting to find out about CBD, but you know, it wasn't like, you know, like I'm basically telling my mom, man, tell him he needs to smoke a joint, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of like, man, you know, they're not taking me serious. And when he got down real sick, that was one of the final things. A doctor from California sent him some CBD. This might have been 2015, 16, and they sent him some CBD, and he would come and be like, man, can you get some more of that? And you know, but so I know it definitely does what it does. But now to see it, because at that time I was like, I had a bad feeling about it, because I'm like, man, CBD has these good benefits, but the world's not embracing it. You know, they looking at weed and marijuana like it's a bad thing, but to see how the government is trying to embrace CBD is a good sign.
Yeah. I think it's legal all over the country
It's
now,
definitely
right?
federally legal. Most states you can grow it. You know, you just fill out an application, you can grow hemp.
All right. You're also starting up your own marketing agency as well, right?
So that's Think Plus, and that's something I'm proud of, just from the point of view of when you're independent in this game and doing what the most you can do yourself. You learn that marketing and promotion is 80-90% of the game. You know, talent is gonna rise to the top, but marketing is what puts it out front. So really over the last 5 years, that's been my focus, marketing and promotions, and learning ways to market my music and put it out there, because the music is easier for me at this point. You know, I can go in there and make something that I'm hearing in my head without having to try it 5-10 times like when I was younger. So now it's been me focusing on marketing, rolling out projects, figuring out ways to grab everybody's attention, because nowadays, by it being so many people doing music, or so easily available for you to put your music out and stuff like that, you gotta find a way to separate yourself from the crowd. So that's where the marketing and me taking on that as a company, really I want to put everything under that umbrella, because that's what really makes it go around. You know what I mean?
Might as well. Good luck with that. Absolutely. All right, so do you have a new project that you're working on?
Right now I got a single I'm about to get ready to drop. Might drop it with this interview.
All right. What can you tell us about that single?
That song's called Ready. It's another one for the ladies, but I like it a lot.
Self-produced?
No, that record I didn't produce. A guy named DGB Beats or something made it or something. Like I said, I'm trying to, as an artist, I'm trying to keep myself out that box. So I'm definitely at this point listening to a lot of other producers and writing to their beats and stuff too. And so it's one of those records, you know.
You gonna shoot a video for that one too?
I definitely want to do some visuals. Definitely, but like I said, at this point, I done did so much music. It's all about that rollout. So I'm not going to just, you know what I mean? I just want to make sure everything is right. From moving forward, when I, have a plan, put it out right. You know what I mean?
All right, TMack. What else you working on right now?
Just producing, man. getting everything going with that. One other thing I'm been thinking about doing with the beats is getting my online presence back. I used to sell a lot of beats online, and then when I started getting better placements, I was like, I'm gonna leave that alone. But I was making money doing that. And it's like, that also was like sword sharpening sword, because it was just like Rock Battle. We go on there, battle beats, but it gets you, you know, on top of your craft. So I want to get back just for the love, you know what I mean? Because regardless of how much I make off of music, I love music. It's therapy for me. So I always do music, even if I don't make nothing off of it. But I want to get back on that level as a producer. Probably start vlogging, putting out tutorials and little stuff like that, just to help up-and-coming producers and just kind of play my part like that, you know what I mean? So from a producer point of view, you can definitely look out for me to upload new tracks on my website and tutorials on my YouTube page, and just try to, you know, help out like that.
Be the best in my time, challenging the storm. I used to skip class, selling beats out of my dorm. I ain't make it far in college. If you better seek you some knowledge. If I could go back, I listen to the man